the very first step that we should all try to make when it comes to sharpening our mindset or enhancing the ability of our mindset is to have an awareness to recognize our personal triggers. I've always, beat on the drum of the most important thing we can do is recognize what we have control over and what we don't. That courage is more important than confidence. And all these different kind of like mindset cliches. And I hadn't heard much about the importance of recognizing triggers. What is up, everybody? And welcome back to the Schooling Struggle Podcast. It is our belief that the only guarantee in life is that we are all going to struggle, and how we choose to embrace our struggles is what empowers us to become the best versions of ourselves. How is it going? My name is Pete, coming to you from Heartland, Vermont, and back with me after a couple weeks away from conversation is my good friend and co-host, Mr. Todd Ellis, coming to you from the beautiful city of Tacoma, Washington. Up in Washington State. What's up,
You'll
Todd?
hate it here. What's up, Pete? You'll hate Tacoma. It's a terrible place. No, I'm just joking. There's a sticker that says "You'll hate Tacoma." It prompts people to stop coming here, but I don't know if it actually works. So, I'm good. Yeah, it's been a couple weeks. How you been?
Yeah, welcome back. Yeah,
thanks.
Things are good. We're making our way through the winter here in Vermont, and
good.
Things are going well.
Fantastic.
To our family of listeners out there, I am so thrilled to just have you as part of what we have going on here. I know for a small number of people, this is just a podcast that they listen to. And for a large majority of you, this is the stuff that you are striving to live. This is the stuff that you are striving to apply or put into your life in tactical ways that you can be a better version of yourself. And it just means the world to me. It's so crazy to think that so many people out there are taking 40 minutes of their day to listen to us, to listen to our thoughts, our perspectives, and to apply it to their life. It really blows me away that even if there's one person out there listening, but I took a lot of time over the vacation break that I just had for the holidays to really dive into the analytics of the show and just to see who's listening out there, the demographics, where they're listening from. It's just really, really fascinating. So we just thank you so much for being a part of our Schooling Struggle Podcast family, and urge you to stick with us as we have some cool stuff planned coming up for the next couple months in this show. For the new listeners of our family of listeners out there, I want to introduce you to the 5x5, and the 5x5 is 5 questions that I will ask Todd, and we will both answer in approximately 5 minutes, so about 2.5 minutes each. There is no set timer on this, so if we go a little bit over, a little bit under, that's all good. But I always come across different questions I think are cool, and when I compile 5 of them, I will reach out to Todd and say, "Hey, you ready to do a 5x5?" And he's never said no. So I'm psyched to kind of launch into this and dig deep into some of these and keep it really surface level on others. Any thoughts, perspectives from your end, Todd, before we get into it?
No, I think I'm ready. Let's dive in.
All right. Question number 1. What is something from your life, either from the past or current, that you are embarrassed about?
Embarrassment. I don't know. I'm gonna defer to you on the first one.
I've had a couple of embarrassing moments in my life. So if I were to pull a story from the past, I could do that, and I'll do that in story time with Mr. D with my students. Actually, I haven't done a story time with Mr. D on the podcast in a while, so we could do that. But a really short version of an embarrassing story from my life is back when I was in college, so mid-90s, pre-cell phones, pre-smartphones, and certainly pre-phones with cameras. Mm-hmm. The only way to take a picture was to get an old-fashioned camera that had film in it, if we weren't using Polaroid, and was to load that little sucker with about 30 shots of 30 photos in a roll of film, and then you'd take the photos, and then you would take the roll out of the camera, you drop it off at your local pharmacy, and 2 weeks later they'd let you know your film is in, and you'd go pay money. For me, it was a lot of money at the time, and you'd be really excited to sift through your pictures, and about half the pictures were unfocused and blurry, and the other half it was off center. So I'm sure kids are like, I can't even imagine taking a picture and not knowing what it looks like for 3 weeks. But that's the way it was. And the quick version of this story was I was at a party with some friends, and we saw a camera sitting on a bedside table. So we snuck into a quiet room at the party and thought it would be funny if 3 of us bent over and mooned the camera.
Nice
while
work.
one of our other buddies took a picture of it. So we did that.
Classy.
I was one of the mooners. Yeah, classy moon.
Mhm, mhm.
And then we just, innocently put the camera back for whoever was a camera owner, which we didn't know, would get their pictures developed and see this beautiful picture of the 3 full moons. Didn't think about it much after that. Didn't really ask about it. Didn't even know whose camera it was at the party. I'd say 3 or 4 months later, I wake up in my dorm room and I go out to breakfast, and there's a piece of paper taped on my door, which wasn't uncommon at the time because I think pre-digital media, pre-social media, the way that they got word out on campus that things were happening is you make a flyer and like put it on the dorm room. So it's like, oh, the
This
volleyball team's hosting a fundraising event on Saturday afternoon. Come down, pay $5, play some volleyball, that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So piece of paper hanging on my door, no big deal. Grab it, pull it off, take a look at it to see what is going on around campus. And lo and behold, it is a good old fashioned black and white photocopy of the picture that was developed of the 3 full moons. And not only was it 3 full moons, because you couldn't see our faces because we were bent over, but they wrote in Sharpie above each of our bodies our full names. So Peter Driscoll and then
It's great.
everybody. And I was like, oh, that's a really like I know who the girls who were hosting the party then. And I was like, oh, they got us pretty good. Like that's funny. And I go and I look, and my next door neighbor also has one of these photocopies taped to their door. Then I kind of look down the row, and every door has it. And these girls, they got us good. If I had to guess, I'd say they made 500 photocopies
Holy
and
smoke.
went around that night while everyone was sleeping and masking taped them
Oh,
to
this was the next day, like the next morning?
not the next morning of the photo taken. It was months and months later.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. But I woke up and there was a photocopy of my behind on every single dorm room in the entire campus.
You're
It must have
famous.
taken them a team of them hours to do this.
For sure.
And I was like, oh man, like they got me good. And we had a bunch of prank wars with them, but they got me good there. And somebody once told me revenge is a platter best served up cold.
Yeah.
So you wait till the hot and heavy emotions calm down, you really think it through, and you get it when they least expect it. And that's exactly what they did to me. So
Huh.
yeah, kudos to
That's a good one.
yeah. I mean, you wouldn't do it now because nobody like takes photos and leaves cameras hanging around.
What's
But
interesting, I was going to ask you the same question, like knowing what you know about the like the bullying of technology and the utility of that. Like that wouldn't seem so funny if it was the next day, right? And you send it to somebody's entire friends list with 2 clicks of a button, like because like that's fun. That was embarrassing. Like
yeah,
that was a good one, and now it's like that's not funny. Like that's
but yeah, and
terrible.
just think about like the amount of like creativity and work that went into these girls to do
Yeah,
this versus just taking a photo and posting it in 2
yeah,
seconds. Yeah,
yeah. Right.
yeah. So
Maybe that's what
I would
makes it
say
better.
when I think back on like times in my life when I've been embarrassed, that was one of the many, many, many bad decisions that
Huh.
I've made. And I would say currently, and I think I've talked about this in the past. I'm not going to go too deep into it now, but I'm legitimately embarrassed about my lack of knowledge regarding current events. Like
Wow.
I am blissfully ignorant to a lot of stuff that's happening in the world, and it's like it's embarrassing how little I know. My wife reads the paper and she'll every now and again like keep me updated, but like there's massive things that are happening in the world that I feel like everyone knows about except me. And I just have a hard time fitting it into my day because I don't want to start my day with it and I don't want to end my day with it. The middle of my day is just crazy busy and it's just not something I've prioritized.
Yeah.
And I think my scapegoat is, well, I can't control it, so why should I focus on it? But I
Hmm.
do think some level of awareness of what's happening both in my immediate community and the greater world is worthwhile knowledge to have. And I'm just embarrassed at how little I know.
Wow. That's interesting. We're so alike on that, except for I'm on the other side of that. Like we're the same. Like I don't pay attention to anything. But I feel, and that's bliss for me because I feel like if I'm watching TV and the news, like the local news comes on or any news comes on, it is so deflating just to listen, just to have the level of awareness that I do, which is not great, but to listen to how drab and dire and steeped in negativity, just the regular anything from the weather to the financial, like everything in the news is just like
Crazy.
doom and
Yeah.
gloom. And I'm just like, wow. And there are things that go on, and I was like, I have no idea that was happening. And I'm like, and that's fantastic because I don't even care that that's happening.
Yeah.
So it's funny that you feel
Yeah.
embarrassed because of that. Maybe it's just a circle of friends and that, like, how you
Oh,
feel
yeah.
their expectation is.
Yeah, I mean, one of my what I would say is my most intellectual friends who is really kind of tapped into that stuff. around that circle, sometimes I'm like reluctant to
Yeah.
share. Like, yeah, I listen to sports talk radio because it's just mindless and it's nice,
Oh.
And he drove me to drop my car off the other day at the shop, and I get in his car and he's got WEEI, which is a local Boston sports station. I'm like, you listen to EEI? He goes, dude, he goes, I couldn't do the news anymore for the exact reasons, Todd, that you just listed.
Perfect.
He is so informed. He's like, I just can't do it. He's like, it's
Yeah.
so negative and it's so bad.
Yeah.
He's like, I had to switch to something. You're the one that told me about EEI. So
See,
yeah,
look at you.
interesting.
Look at you. Nice. Carry
Yeah.
the impact. You'll forgive me, but I've forgotten the question.
Something from your past or currently that you're embarrassed about.
Yes. Yeah, we've talked about this at length too, but I have a very hard time connecting to anything in the past that has any emotion tied to it. So there's only one thing I can think of that I was fairly embarrassed about it, but it was more shameful. And I think we've talked about this before. There was a moment at work at Microsoft when I was sitting at this terminal and I was supposed to be doing this thing, and the people behind me, there was I don't know, probably 8 or 10 people behind me, and my boss was there, and it was, to me, I felt like it was an intuitive situation where one of those people could have figured it out, and I was just there stumbling, like I could not figure it out at all, and I struggle in real time with figuring things out anyways, but this was just like exponentially worse in that event. And I remember thinking, like, I could feel just the blood drain or rise either way. I remember thinking, like, will this moment ever end? And when it did, I was so excited about it. But I remember feeling that emotion, whatever you want to put a pin on that to be. But
Yeah, because there's the emotion and there's like of the brain, then there's the physiological effects like the blood
absolutely,
drain or the sweat or whatever.
yep.
Real quick, why were 8 people standing behind you watching you work?
In the old, well, I mean, in the scale of computer technology, we used to have what they would call huge high density labs, and in this lab there would be, if you think about like the Matrix or something, right? Like you see like endless rows of just computer stacks. They're in like these cabinets, and that's what we had at Microsoft, obviously, in the early days. And there was something that had to be done with one of those interfaces that was inside of the lab, and so we all went in there and we are like, oh, I wonder what it could be. And so I just happened to be thumbing at the terminal when it became like, here's what needs to happen. There's like, go ahead, do it, and I'm just like, so it was like a freeze, flight, or freeze, flee, fright, whatever they call it, I can't remember. But and I clearly just froze. I was just like, oh my gosh, this is the worst thing ever. So yeah, that was very interesting.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. But as far as the other, like currently, and we touched on this before too, but I'm like really struggling with the fact that what this week, I think this is the last week of unemployment. So unemployment is a state stipend basically that you pay into for however long you work, and then if you're out of work, you make claims against the money that you paid in, and they give you some ridiculously low amount of money, which is more than some people make. So I should not be so privileged, but anyways, it's nothing near what I used to make, and so that's running out from the time that I was laid off in May. And so I think we talked last time, or maybe the time before that, about how I kind of assumed that it would be a lot easier to find any job, especially a job within the industry that I used to work in. And now I've kind of pulled back the veil, and I'm realizing that not only are those jobs very difficult to get, but any jobs are very difficult to get. And where I thought previously I would just be candy picking, like when I got serious about it, I would just finally just take one that I was like, oh, I guess that'll work, and then make it work. Now it's just like, wow, there's not as many jobs out there as I thought. And now it's even getting worse because people like Facebook or Meta, whatever you want to call them, they just trimmed 30,000 jobs, 15,000 jobs the other day. So all of their marketing, all of their D&I, like all the things that, other people thought, oh, I just go over there and do it. Now that's gone. So it's very interesting, the landscape, but more interesting is the amount of embarrassment I feel. I don't know if for me, those two are very, very close, shame and embarrassment. But when my friends, I'll go to hang out with my friends or whatever, and they're just like, oh, what are you doing tomorrow? I was like, well, they're like, well, you're not working, so what's that? And so it's like, it's getting old. The joke is getting old to the point where I'm just like, okay, like, I don't really care about their expectation, but now it's like, have you been doing anything? Like, so I carry that around a lot, but yeah, that's where I'm at. That's my embarrassing stories, the two I can remember.
For our family listeners, 2 episodes ago, Todd did what I think was an amazing job at articulating kind of his challenge his current challenge with the unemployment and finding work. And Todd, I got a lot of positive feedback about your candor and your transparency in that episode. And people were just saying how it's so fascinating to hear about how the different struggles that people are navigating and how they're navigating them. And some of the listeners really opened up to me about that. I thought that
That's
was
awesome.
really cool.
Thanks for that feedback. I didn't know.
So I think this is currently episode 82. I think that was episode 80 that we had that conversation.
Sweet. Yeah.
Question number 2.
Okay.
What is an irrational fear that you have? And I think the quick definition of an irrational fear is something that we spend a lot of time, energy, and attention worrying about that the majority of people wouldn't even think about. So that's how we're going to define an irrational fear for this conversation. I can see you looking up toward the ceiling, which means you're doing some hard thinking. While you're doing some hard thinking, I'll share with you mine.
Go ahead.
One of mine is absolutely somebody that I'm dining with choking.
What?
I think about that all the time. Yeah, like, oh my God, if that person starts to choke, what am I going to do? Yes, I'm trained in the Heimlich. Yes, I know that. And even bigger is my daughter choking. So like I'm constantly like, hey, take smaller bites. Hey, when you're eating that, and like when she leaves the house to go to a birthday party, I'm like, remember, if you're not paying attention to what you're eating and you're laughing and playing while you're eating, like that's where choking things happen.
Wow.
And, like, I cut foods up into tiny bites for way, way, way too long for her.
Has she choked before?
She's younger. No, so I had an irrational fear of her choking long before she choked. She, like every regular kid, she had one or two like little incidents. One time she was eating some wobbly bacon and just had a hard time. And, like I freaked out. And there's another time I freaked out and she wasn't choking. What's interesting is when I lived in Vietnam, the way that they would often serve soup is they'd literally take an entire chicken, like defeather it, but feet, head, the whole deal, throw it in a pot of just boiling water, take it out of the pot after it's boiled for a while. Just take a knife and just chop it up, bones and all, and then just throw all the parts into like a soup. And then you'd eat the soup and you just kind of eat around the bones. And I ate every day family style with my students who were kindergarten through second grade at the time. And there was like all these bones in this soup. And I'm so freaked out about it. And they were fine. Like nothing ever happened. In that culture, that was very normal to eat like soup with so many little and big bones all sprinkled throughout.
Wow.
But I was just like a nervous wreck. And yeah, so people around me choking is an irrational fear of mine.
Wow. Have you choked? Like, I have so many questions. Like, how does that even happen?
One really bad one.
So that is something that
middle school.
Yeah.
Eating nachos in a tavern, and this random guy, I was with my friends. We actually snuck into the bar section of it.
I was gonna say, wait a minute.
Yeah, we weren't supposed to be there, and I just started choking. And this guy just got up out of his seat and just wailed on my back. Boom, boom,
come
boom.
on,
yeah, I don't think he knew what he was doing, but he didn't know what to do. So he just
did it come out? He nailed it. He got it.
Yeah, it worked. Yeah, it worked.
But like because of him.
Yeah. And then I've had one at a banquet. I was like eating chicken, and it was scary. So yeah, the irrational fear I have is choking.
Wow.
And then
yeah.
I have a couple other little ones. I puked on my dentist when I was 10. I've talked about this. So I'm thinking like 35 years ago that happened, and I've been to the dentist and orthodontist together like well over 100 times now, but since then. And every time I walk in, I'm like, oh crap, like I really hope that I don't throw up on the dentist again. So
no way.
It's just funny how things stay with you,
Huh.
And then I also have an irrational fear of bumping into someone in the grocery store and being the guy who just like totally holds them up, like talking too much. So like I'll see people that I think are amazing, and I'll like go up and say hi, but I won't like talk to them because I have this fear that's like, oh my God, there's Pete. I do not want to run into him again in the grocery store. I walk up to him and say, hey, how's it going? It's great to see you. Enjoy your shopping experience. I'll probably see you in another aisle. And then I walk away. Like I don't like make small talk or conversation. And a cue if someone wants to talk to you or not is which way their feet are pointed. So if someone is talking to you and their feet are pointed toward you, that's kind of a code or an unwritten rule that people don't even realize that they probably want to be talking to you. But I won't even point my feet at people. Like my feet are pointed away because I don't want to give them the opportunity to think that I'm the guy that they don't want to bump into in public.
Wow.
So yeah.
Man, a lot of thought goes into that. I feel like your radar is always on for that.
And then I just want to share with you an irrational fear of my wife's, and it's warranted because of our past cat. But our past cat used to catch mice and then beat them around and get them all bloody and then bring them into the bed in the middle of the night. So like bloody mice like running through our bed sheets is like something she freaks out about. So if the cats catch anything, like she's totally freaked out about bloody mice ending up in our bed. I don't know how many people worry about bloody mice in the bed, but it's just something yeah, that's on my wife's radar. So those are some irrational fears from my family. And my daughter has just this irrational fear of really loud noises. That's not totally uncommon for kids
No.
her age, but like
Yeah.
balloons popping, fire alarms going off, that kind of stuff just freaks her out.
Wow. I I can't even think of one irrational fear, and you have a whole host of irrational fears. Not only yours,
you're such a rational guy.
but other people's. Like, if I really think about like what I was hung up on when you were talking at the beginning was your like the perception of irrational. Like which
Right, right.
now your stories are like, wow, that is great. Like I'm like, that is irrational. But like I can't. I mean, I'm a superstitious person. I like if there's a black cat that I see up across my path, hell no, I'm turning around. I'm going way out of the way. Like there's no way that cat could have even come in that direction.
Really? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
So that's a
there's that.
very irrational fear. Yeah.
I
Do you have
guess
those
so.
like walking under ladders and stuff
Yeah, I
like
don't do
that?
anything superstitious like any of that. No
Spilling
shot.
salt, like all that stuff.
No, I mean I'll spill salt and I'll walk on cracks, but other than that, like I'm not like there's definitely no going under ladders, no black cats.
Are you
But
irrational when you watch your sports teams? Like, oh, like I'm sitting in this spot on the couch. That went well.
no
I can't
shot.
move.
No,
No.
no,
Yeah.
there's nothing like that's not even organizationally like that. Like there's nothing that I can think. I mean, other than the dog hair on the floor, that's clearly irrational, but I can't stop that. Yeah, that's yeah.
All
No,
right.
nothing. I definitely
Okay.
don't worry about where my feet are in relation to other people I see in the in the grocery store. That's for certain. But yeah, that's weird.
Question
Continue.
number 3. Give me an example of something that you have screwed up recently.
I mean, I screw things up all the time.
I was actually interested to see where you're going to go with this.
I mean, I haven't had a lot of huge fails. I like in my mind, like I'm thinking about like what did I really screw up? Well, here's one that I didn't see coming. I'm making a shed on the side of my garage, and I had all of these. So they make these 12 by 12 concrete risers, basically is what they're kind of shaped like a pyramid. And so I was talking to this guy that's been teaching me how to do this framing, and he's like, well, it's way easier to get ones that adjust. They have two jam nuts that go against each other and raise it or lower it. That way you can just set them where, within reason, and then you can move them up or down to move the floor instead of having to pack it underneath with sand, which becomes kind of an arduous task if you have a long stretch, right? I was like, that's great. So I went to the store and I bought these things, and I came home and I moved all the other ones out to the driveway. And then we continue to build everything on top. And then I go to put the sheathing on the side for the T111 for the siding of the building. And I bring it down as far as I can because it's an 8-foot sheet. And I didn't want to waste any of the wood because wood is ridiculously expensive right now. And so I bring it all the way down, and then I put all the sheathing on, and I step back and I look back and I'm like, well, now there's no way I'm going to be able to ever adjust those nuts because I brought the sheeting down to the point where I can't even adjust them. Yeah. So that was kind of embarrassing too at the same time, but that's a mistake I made. I was thinking to myself, now how am I going to, that's ridiculous. So I hope it doesn't ever sag, but it's probably going to. But they're always typically associated with learning, hopefully. Like,
Yeah.
I try not to make the same mistake over and over. That does happen, but yeah.
Yeah. So I haven't learned in some places. And one of them is I will leave the house multiple times and, oh crap, I forgot this, and run in and get that one thing, and then get back in the car. Oh my gosh, I forgot. So like, I know it's like cell phone, wallet, bag, and lunch for school. It's like those 4 things. But if it's not like one of those 4 things, and I've been known to like, I'll drive away from the house. Like, oh crap, I forgot this. So I drive back. I'll go in to get the thing. I'll be like, oh, I'm hungry. I'll make a snack, and I'll go back and not get the thing, get in the car, and drive away again. I'm like, oh my gosh, Pete, you are such a moron. And like, I never engaged in like drugs or alcohol or any of that, so I can't like blame it on that. But I'm curious to know like how many people my age like struggle with that. It's a very normal thing for me to leave the house like 3 or 4 times. Same thing with my office at work. Like I'll leave to go talk to someone. And be like, oh my gosh, forgot that spreadsheet that I need, then go back into my office and like print it out in the copy room, which is a different room, and then leave and like not stop by the copy room to grab the sheet. Like that kind of stuff happens to me all the time.
Yeah.
It's just, I think my mind is just in 100 places and not focused on the task at hand.
Hmm.
And then the other one I think that I've screwed up recently is a while back, I realized teaching that I had more to lose and to gain over time using sarcasm with students. So unless I have a really, really well understood relationship with a student, I won't use sarcasm. But I have been, over the last couple of years, I just use it a ton with my daughter. And I feel like it's kind of fractured a little bit of our communication. In times when I'm not even being sarcastic, she gets upset with me. She's like, Daddy, stop that. And I'm like, no, I'm serious. She's like, no, you're being sarcastic. So like, I've decided I'm going to pull way back on my sarcasm with my daughter and just be kind, because I
Hmm.
think the sarcasm for her was coming off as like me judging her or me being rough with her or me not listening to her or seeing her side or whatever.
It definitely
And
wasn't going the way you thought it was going. That's
was
for sure.
not going the way I thought.
Yeah.
And so for 3 or 4 days now, I've done next to zero sarcasm, and she has just been beautiful with the way she's been
Awesome. Is
communicating
it
with me.
difficult to unwind that?
I don't think so, because I don't use it at school. Like
Mm.
it's not ubiquitous for me, so
Yeah.
I can turn that on and off
Yeah.
pretty well. There's been a couple times where I've caught myself like about to say something to her, but yeah, I thought that I'd connect with her through sarcasm, and that just hasn't worked. So I need to find a new way, and I think it's just to be really loving and kind, and not just to be like the hard. But I also think like she doesn't have siblings, so she needs someone to like
Yeah.
be kind of sibling-ish with her. And my wife Jen, she's like, yeah, that's not your role. Don't
Yeah.
worry about
Right.
that.
Yeah. That's not you. Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say that's the place where I think I've screwed up.
Huh. Interesting. But you caught it, so that's all right.
Well, I still have to follow through.
Or you're
It's not
catching it. Yeah. Right. But you saw
strength.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Question 4. What is something that you hope for the near or distant future for yourself, and or what is a new skill that you'd like to cultivate going forward?
Well, I mean, patience is always on the top of my list for things to
Yeah.
cultivate, but that takes constant. It's not. I guess it is a skill. I mean, it could be seen as a virtue, I suppose, but nonetheless, that's definitely at the top. I don't know. You know, I found that a lot of things. I don't know. Like here's an example. I have 8 credits on my Audible account, so I get a credit every month. I used to consume books, self-help books, like all kinds of stoicism books, like things of that nature, like things that make me think at just a ridiculous rate when I used to have hours to drive to and from work. And now I have hours that I don't do anything, and I don't even do that. And so I find
Mm.
myself getting like nonfiction books. I'm like, listen to Stephen King again. I'm like, am I just filling up my head with random busyness, or have I like lost a passion for those kind of constructive? I don't know. I think it comes and goes, but it's never came and gone before. That's why I find it
Mm.
so interesting. But that's one example of where I wish I could do differently.
As a non-Audible user, does 1 credit equate to a book, or is it like
Yeah.
multiple credits to buy a book?
No,
Okay.
one credit is one book typically.
Equals a book.
Yeah.
I find with that I think sometimes I'm just exhausted. Like I'm always trying to improve and learn and be better. And how can I achieve and be more effective and be more efficient? And sometimes I'm just friggin' burnt out of that.
Yeah.
So I alternate. I do 1 fiction, 1 nonfiction. That's kind of my rule for
Oh,
myself.
like on and off.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then when it comes to books, I like the 100 minus your age. So I have to read a book until 100 minus my age, and when I get to that page, that number, whatever that number
Oh,
is,
yeah.
then I can choose if I want to keep reading or not.
Oh, interesting.
But I'm a little hard headed, and I'll finish the book anyway.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of my cutoff. But what you just said is it resonates with me, because what I was going to share is I want to read more books going forward than I have been. Like on average, I've been averaging like 1 a month, because I'm like so tired at night. I'll open my book and I'll go to read. I'll read a half a page and I'll be asleep. And so where I can make more time for that is I've just been over the years just kind of doing more and more hours in the YouTube rabbit hole. Like it'll start out very, very focused and like fitness or something for my own fitness or for health and wellness or for this podcast or for my students. Next thing I know, it's been 2 hours and I'm watching videos about the smallest apartments in Japan. Just like stuff like that happens to me quite often.
Wow.
So I am on a quest to, anytime I'm going to go down the mindless YouTube rabbit hole, I need to recognize that. So that's the awareness piece.
Yeah.
Don't do that and just grab a book. Like have my book close enough in the house where I can grab that and just be more diligent about that. So so 13 or more books read in 2024 would be my goal for that. I shared in the last episode when I was my solo episode, which also got pretty good feedback, which I was pretty psyched about.
Congratulations.
How one of my goals going forward is to ask more questions before providing my perspective. So that's a skill that I'm trying to work on. And then a physical skill. I feel like I'm at an age where I can still physically do cool stuff, and I want to do some of those cool things while I'm still able.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not satisfied with my ability to handstand walk and for static handstand holds. So I'd like to get better at handstand walking and handstand holds for a number of reasons, for health, for wellness, for just doing something that's uncomfortable.
For handstands.
Yeah. Party tricks, the whole deal. So
yeah.
So that's my answer to that question.
Nothing to it but to do it. Handstands are there's one of those weird ones. They're kind of like like legless rope climbs. Like how often are you actually ever going to use that, right?
But they're so addicting. Like once you get like that, like we start to feel proficient with it. Like
Yeah.
I just want to kick up all the time and do handstand walks. Yeah.
I can't wait to see you randomly somewhere and just be like, hey, ready?
But I want handstand walking to be like easy, like kick up and just kind of go as long as you
Like
want,
through a
you
little
know?
chorus, do some
Yeah,
spins.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Are you good at it?
I can walk on my hands. It's not going to win any style points at a gymnastics meet by any
Yeah.
means,
Yeah. But
but
how
I
far
can.
could you go if you just kicked up and went for it? 50
I'm
feet?
no, I've walked the length of a basketball court on
Wow.
my hands, but
Nice work.
yeah, but
I mean,
with the shoulder
realize
stuff, probably not there right
realize
now.
that's
But
better than a lot of people already. I'm just saying.
yeah, yeah. But
I mean, do you want to dribble while you're doing that?
oh,
Like
that'd be cool.
with my foot.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you know me. I don't want to be the really fit guy. I want to be the really fit old
Yeah.
guy. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. And the fittest old guy.
yeah.
Peter.
All right, number 5.
Yeah.
Was there anything that you want? Sorry, before I get into number 5, is there anything else that you wanted to share for
I
number
don't even
4?
remember the question of number 4.
Perfect.
So no.
You're easy. Oh, you'd be a great person to borrow money from.
No, I can remember that.
Oh, all right, never mind.
Give out tools, I have a hard time, but see, do you got my Dremel? No, man. Like,
I actually know what a Dremel is.
that's good.
Yeah. All
I
right.
have a surplus one I was just about to give away to my friend. He's like, it's not mine, but I'll take it. I was like, it's good because you're getting it because I don't know where it came from.
Do you remember that you shipped me a blender?
I do remember that. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Good.
I love it. I use it every day.
Yeah.
All right, number 5. What is something new you've learned or that you've been thinking about recently?
I've been learning a lot about things, construction things with my hands. So I've been framing, I've been grading, I've been doing. I didn't get on the machine, but the kid keeps egging me to get on the excavator, and I just don't see any utility in that. But that plumbing, like all those kind of trade things, I've been doing a lot of those recently. So I find it very interesting that two things. One, that it's I have a procrastination problem where I'm just like, it's got to be too difficult, so I'll just never start it. I mean, which isn't this case with like digging a hole, but it is the case with like doing some framing because I'm like, I don't know how to do this, or I could endlessly go down YouTube and 1 million people will do it 1 million different ways, and it's interesting to me that there are so many different ways to build something, and everybody has their own way of doing it. And I was like, well, which one's the best? And I'll get stuck in that, like which one's the best way. So learning that from somebody who's been doing it for 40 years has been very cool. And the other side of that is also like my brother-in-law, he's a trade plumber. And I'm just like, well, I'll just dig this hole and I'll drill a hole in the slab and I'll put the PEX up through there and you just do the rest. And, he's like, yeah, it's going to be simple. I just got all these tools. And I was like, okay, but like I've plumbed before, but I'm like, it can't be that easy. And he's like, no problem. And I'm just like, it's so cool that people know different things and everybody can come together to get one thing done. I think that's really cool. So being part of that.
Yeah, that is cool. It's interesting as someone who I don't view myself as handy or having a lot of knowledge with any of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And in my mind, and this is just a stereotype, maybe it's living up here in Vermont, but I feel like if someone knows how to do something, they know how to do everything. So almost the opposite of what you just said. So like you've referenced many times in past conversations that you have the ability to fix cars.
Yeah.
And you have like what is the equivalent to me? It sounds like if not a very close to like an auto shop somewhere on your property.
Yeah.
And if your friend had an issue with any part of their car, that you'd be able to help them.
Yep.
So in my mind that says, well, if you know how to fix cars, which is way outside of something that I can do, then you clearly know how to frame and you know how to plumb and you know how to electrician and you know excavation and you know landscaping and you know all these things. Like in my mind, that's how it goes. So because I knew that you knew cars, I assumed that you knew carpentry.
No. I mean, not well. Like I could cobble something. I could build a treehouse in a tree, but it ain't gonna withstand, hurricane force winds. But whatever.
Yeah.
But thanks for the great outlook on my abilities, Peter.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was going to invite you over to come do all sorts of stuff at my house.
I don't know if it'd be done right, but it'd get done.
Mine for something that I've learned recently. Longtime listeners of the show know that I'm a fan of Ben Bergeron's podcast, Chasing Excellence, and I was recently listening to their most listened to episode of 2023, and he talks a lot about mindset and mental strength and these types of things. And I never heard him make reference to this. He believes the very first step that we should all try to make when it comes to sharpening our mindset or enhancing the ability of our mindset is to have an awareness to recognize our personal triggers. I've always, beat on the drum of the most important thing we can do is recognize what we have control over and what we don't. That courage is more important than confidence. And all these different kind of like mindset cliches. And I hadn't heard much about the importance of recognizing triggers. As a teacher with trauma-informed education, these types of things, I've heard about triggers, but to prioritize recognizing triggers above all other mindset-based proficiencies really struck me. What I've learned is a trigger is a strong emotional response or a physiological sign that you're feeling something. And that can be anxiety, that can be a feeling of impending doom, that can be enhanced heart rate, that can be an upset stomach. These different things that show that something is going on with us. And how do we recognize triggers? And I've learned that there's external triggers, which are like triggers of the environment, like I was just talking about with my daughter with really loud noises. I also have like a myriad of like sensory issues. Like there's certain clothes and certain fabrics that I
Oh, yeah.
cannot wear. Like I can't have zippers on my clothes, weird stuff like that.
Mhm.
So those would be like external. Then there's the internal, like, inside the body, these things are happening, the upset stomach, the sweating, these types of things. And then there's the synthetic, which is kind of triggers that we've comprised or made up within ourselves that we intentionally or unintentionally set off, but we've kind of created them for whatever reason.
Mhm.
And I'm really interested to learn more about recognizing my own triggers and the awareness that comes with that, and then sharing what I've learned about that on this podcast and
Oh,
the
that's
other
cool.
platforms in my life. So yeah, just starting to dip my toe in that water right now to learn about the importance of recognizing our own triggers.
Yeah, that's cool.
So
Mhm.
that is our 5x5 for tonight.
Bye bye bye.
With that said, we appreciate your ears. We thank you for your time. We are incredibly grateful for your attention. We are the School and Struggle Podcast. We are out.
See ya.